Welcome back and welcome to my March wrap up. I know this is a little bit late, but I only just got back from the UK yesterday, so I'm filming this today, so you can expect a few videos to catch up on my March wrap up, my April TBR, and of course my book haul from things I bought in the UK. So if you don't want to miss any of those videos, remember, click the subscribe button. Love to have you on board, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Okay, on my blog, which I'll link below, I've posted my March wrap up, and I divided it into physical books, ebooks and audiobooks. Confusingly, I've got a couple that I read on one format, but I have the other format here, and a few of them I took over to the UK with me and left over there, so I don't have many of the books I actually read to hold up and show you. So if you want to know more information about any of those books, click on the blog post and you can get more information from them there. So firstly, I did my 7 in 7 at the beginning of this month, so you'll see a few books from that wrap up in common with this wrap up. So in terms of physical books, I read The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett by Chelsea Sidoti. I liked that one and I have already reviewed it on the blog, so click the link down below and you'll get taken to that. I also read... Sorry, I've got my list here. I need to refer to it. I also read The Troublesome Tiger by Tamsin Murray, which is the second book in the Tanglewood Animal Park series. The first one was Baby Zebra Rescue, and I really enjoyed this one. You might have seen me tweeting about the fact that I learned things from this book, and I also found really funny bits in this book. And you can see it's a middle grade read, and it's quite a quick one. So I read this in one sitting, and I really enjoyed every moment of it, which was lovely. I also read Flying Lessons and Other Stories by Ellen O, which was a collection of short stories. I liked some of these short stories, but I didn't like all of them, which is why I haven't done a full review of this one, because some of them just really didn't grab me and some of them did, so it was quite hard to review that one. I also read Secrets of a Happy Marriage by Kathy Kelly. I did a whole video on this one and a blog post. I was part of the blog tour for this one, so definitely click the link down below to see more information on that one. The next book that I read, which I haven't actually got off my shelf, where has it gone? It's here. Handily, was American Housewife by Helen Ellis. This again is a collection of short stories, anecdotes and poems. Some of these ones are longer and some of them are shorter. I'm just trying to find one of the poems to show you here. Again, because this is quite a short book, I read this all in one sitting, and I really enjoyed this one. You can see here, one of the funniest stories was this whole email exchange between two people that live in the same building and have a shared hallway, and it actually ended up getting really dark, but there's some really interesting parts in this one, and I am currently a housewife who lives in America, so very appropriate. I do just sit like this all day, particularly like her pink hair. It goes with my new pink hair here as well. Then the next physical book I read was This Love by Danny Atkins. I am planning on doing a video on this one because I was just so into this book, so I'm not going to say any more about it because I'm going to do a whole video on it. And the next physical book I read was The Queen of Wishful Thinking by Millie Johnson. I did do a whole video on that one, and it is spoiler free. I also posted a review on the blog. This one was published at the beginning of March, so I posted it for then. I also read Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. She also wrote The Sun Is Also a Star, which I did a whole video about. I really enjoyed this one. I read it in 2 sittings. It was quite a short book, and I don't know whether I'll do a video on this one yet. If you want to let me know in comments if you'd like to see a video on it, then please go ahead and comment. Then I got sent a book which I don't think I've even hauled yet, called Turning the Mills and Boons Mills and Boon Modern Girl's Guide to Turning Into Your Mother. You'll be able to see more information about this one on the blog, because I am going to post a review of this one. It's a bit like the new Penguin books that are like about dating and hipsters and mindfulness. It was funny in that way, and it was sort of an A to Z and funny pictures with funny comments and anecdotes about being a mum. So it was perfect, and it came literally the day before Mother's Day, so absolutely perfect for that. And then the final physical book I read was All Grown Up by Jamie Attenberg. I am on the blog tour for this one next week, so if you want to know more about my thoughts on that one, then definitely look out for that blog post and click on that blog post, because I have an extract and a review of that one. Then the ebooks that I read 2 ebooks this month. I read 2? Yes, I read 2 ebooks this month. I've read a couple more ebooks since, so that's why I'm getting confused. The first one was Geek Girl Forever Geek, which is the final book in the Geek Girl series. I'm so upset that this series has come to an end. However, I did post a whole video on my thoughts on all of Geek Girl, and I wrote a review of this one on the blog as well, so definitely click the link below to see that one. And then the other ebook that I read on the flight over to the UK from start to finish. I said I wasn't going to read this one on a flight because it makes me gasp out loud, but I have a physical copy of it here, and that is The Escape by C.L. Taylor. This is her 4th psychological thriller. We had The Missing, The Lie, and The Accident. The Accident was the first one. I also talked about this in my top 10 books by my favourite authors, because I absolutely loved The Lie. This one was really interesting, and so I'm going to make a whole video talk on this one, so definitely look out for that one. And then finally, audiobooks. I posted a video last week about 4 of the memoirs that I'd listened to recently, and that was Is Everyone Hanging Out With Me by Mindy... Let's try that again. Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling, and then her follow-up book Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. Also Seriously I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres, and Girl Walks Into a Bar by Rachel Dratch. So if you want to know my thoughts on any of those books, then just click on that video and you'll see me talking about those ones on there. The other book I listened to was part of my 7 in 7, and that was Truly Madly Guilty by Liane Moriarty. I love a Liane Moriarty audiobook. This one I didn't love quite as much as some of the others I've listened to, but I still do have 2 of hers on my Audible library to listen to, so hopefully I'll get those listened to soon. Then recently I listened to My Life on the Road by Gloria Steinem. Obviously I'd heard of Gloria Steinem, but I hadn't actually read any of her books before. I saw this one being talked about a lot on Twitter, so I downloaded it from the library and listened to that while I was back in the UK. And finally, another confusing one, because I have a physical copy of this book, I listened to the audiobook of How Not to Fall in Love Actually by Catherine Bonetto. I so enjoyed this one. You might have seen my tweets about this one. I absolutely loved it. For a debut author and a debut novel, this was amazing. It's about Emma George, and she tells you, if I read you the blurb here, you'll see why I enjoyed it so much. Join Emma George as she guides you through how not to become accidentally knocked up at the age of 27, how not to unceremoniously dump the father of your child, and then how not to lose the job that, even though you hate it, is the only thing between you and being homeless. And I just literally said the other day, I haven't read any books recently about somebody having a baby, and then this one just came along and I downloaded it and listened to it, and it was about having a baby. I am planning on doing a whole book talk on this. I'm going to post my review of this very soon. I'm just catching up with everything since I've got home, so you can expect more news of this one soon. But needless to say, I loved it and everyone should read it, and it's a really good read. So those are the 19 books that I read in March. I really didn't think I would get as much read as I did. I think the 7 in 7 at the beginning of the month, because obviously 5 of those I read in March, really helped. And then having a 10-hour flight back to the UK meant that I read one whole book, and I read some more coming back as well. So you'll hear about those in my April wrap-up. I will have my April TBR up for you next, and also my UK book haul. So I will probably see you with that tomorrow. Bye.